Hi everyone, this is Kelly from Boho Knits, and I just wanted to do a little video to explain why the color changes in yarn affect the bandana cowl that we're test knitting right now. So what I will do in the future is knit up some swatches with some of these, but today I just wanted to cover the do's and don'ts when you're choosing the yarn. Now, of course you can use pretty much any yarn, but what I really wanted to talk about was the effect on these little bubble short rows. So here's a little swatch with some hand-dyed yarn that I just had in my stash. So you can see there's a little gray bubble. You definitely want a stretch of yarn from about 5 to 8 inches. Sorry, a stretch of color. So what I mean by that is when people, especially hand-dyed yarns, I'm sorry I can't really show the whole skein. This one's quite neat because there's some green, gray, darker green, back to gray, orange. So this one will be, I would say, moderately effective because you'll get some green bubbles, then probably some mixed up bubbles. So in essence, the longer the stretch of color, the better. Otherwise, your bubbles will look a bit muddy. And here's the sample cowl. So you've seen these photos. And this one is gorgeous. I love the color, but the bubbles aren't quite as defined as this swatch. So this is one, this is a Misty Alpaca hand paint sock. And it's one of my favorites. The sock head is made with this. It's so soft. I love it. It's so pretty. So I was really excited to try it with this and see what happened, but I don't think I will because when I looked closer, each stretch of yarn is really only a few inches. I don't know if you can see that there. So what will happen is the bubbles will look really mixed up and probably the colors will look gorgeous, but I think I'm gonna set that one aside and look for something else. So this is Biscotte and C, which is based in Quebec. And they do longer stripes. So if you've ever seen their socks knit up, even though the skein looks similar to the Misty Alpaca, these are actually, when you pull one strand out and find the beginning of the color, like I can't even find it. So this would be, I think, a really neat one to see what would happen. I think, well, I'll go over some pitfalls in a second. So then the other two skeins I have here, this is actually sort of a random one my mom brought me back from Ireland. This is the tag, there's no information. So it's just like a 50-gram skein. The cowl uses about 270 to 300 yards, and I'll add that in. So actually you could use a sport weight and just follow the measurements and instructions. So I see a little short piece of green. So maybe this one, you don't need all the colors to be 8 inches, but if at least one is, then you'll get some of those bubbles, just because that's how much yarn the bubbles uses. So you would get some green bubbles for sure, but then I think the other colors are shorter. So I would maybe set this one aside as well. And the last one I wanted to look at is Timber Yarns. This is a twin sock set. They do really cool stuff made in Canada. So as you can see, this is more for socks because they have it divvied up for us, which is really nice, but I thought it would be, there's nice neon colors. I'm sorry, that's my dog. We're too far into the video, I can't stop. So yeah, I think this one would do some pretty cool bubbles. So I might consider casting on with this one and maybe the Biscotte as well. Okay, we're back. I'm sorry about that. She's a good girl. She's just very protective. Okay, I'm going to talk about some pitfalls Things to avoid. On the surface, these look appealing and would maybe do some cool things. So again, there's no mistake. There's no reason why you couldn't use any of these. But if you want those nice defined bubbles, then I just wanted to give advice on that. So this one, it's nice and soft. It's just a tonal gray. It's kind of, you know, bland. But, I mean, you would get some contrast in the bubbles. It's just sort of a very low contrast compared to some of these other, like, neon. So, also this one, Jawal Magic. This is a really cool, you know, gradient yarn. Again, it would have longer stripes like the Bescope, but you would probably end up with, you know, 3 or 4 blue bubbles and then 3 or 4. So it would just be a very different effect, but it might be worth trying for sure. And then this one, I just wanted to show, I'm sorry, it's already in a ball. I can't remember what this is. I want to say it's opal, but it's just one of those, you know, self-striping sock yarns. We've all got it in our stash. It's good for socks. My only advice about this compared to some of the other ones is it wouldn't be as soft. And when it's around your neck, and I did try one and I just didn't enjoy wearing it as much as Renee's yarn. So obviously I definitely do recommend Renee's yarn. It's a little hard to find because she's a small batch dyer. You can always try contacting her on Instagram. So this is a cashmere merino mix and it's gorgeous. And I love the color. There's no pooling. I think it's beautiful. So that's Stash Yarns, S-T-A-S-H. I'm sorry, Stash Fibers, S-T-A-S-H. Fibers is the Canadian spelling, so F-I-B-R-E-S. And I think that's all I really have to say about that. So yeah, I'll try and do up some swatches so you can see the effects of the different yarns. Thanks for watching. Bye.